The alien ship crashed in the dense forest outside the small town of Pineville. Smoke rose from the twisted metal as rain poured down, steam hissing into the night air. Inside the wreckage, Kira awakened with a start. Her purple skin glowed faintly in the darkness, 4 fingers touching the wound on her forehead. The journey from her homeworld had been long, but not nearly as dangerous as the landing. Her mission to study humans had begun poorly. Kira gathered what remained of her equipment. The translator device thankfully still functioned, as did her camouflage generator. She activated it with a thought, her appearance shifting to that of a human woman with brown hair and green eyes. The technology would fool most humans, though direct physical contact might reveal her true nature. She stepped from the wreckage into the rain, the cool water soothing against her skin. Her species evolved on a desert planet, making water a precious commodity. Rain was something she had only read about in preparation for this mission. It felt wonderful. The ship would need to be hidden. Kira activated the emergency protocol, watching as nanites spread across the vessel's surface. Within minutes, the ship resembled nothing more than a large boulder. It would remain this way until she returned to repair it, or until her people came looking for her. Lights in the distance suggested human habitation. Kira moved toward them, her feet sinking slightly into the muddy ground. The gravity here felt lighter than on her homeworld, making each step seem effortless despite her injuries. The town appeared as she emerged from the forest edge. Small structures lined paved roads, vehicles parked alongside them. Kira had studied human settlements extensively, but experiencing one firsthand was different. The smells, sounds, and sights overwhelmed her enhanced senses. A building with bright lights and humans moving inside caught her attention. The sign read Mel's Diner in glowing letters. According to her cultural briefing, such establishments served food and might provide information. Kira straightened her appearance as best she could and approached. The bell above the door jingled as she entered. Several humans turned to look at her, then returned to their conversations. A woman with blonde hair approached, holding a small electronic device. "Rough night, honey. You're soaked through," the woman said, concern in her voice. "I'm Amy. Take a seat wherever you like." Kira nodded, mimicking human gestures she had studied. "Thank you. The rain caught me by surprise." She chose a booth away from the other patrons and sat down. Amy handed her a laminated card. "Here's our menu. Coffee to start?" Kira recognized coffee as a stimulant beverage humans consumed regularly. "Yes, please." She studied the menu while Amy walked away, recognizing few of the items listed. Human food had been a minor focus in her preparation. She hadn't expected to need sustenance so soon. Amy returned with a steaming cup. "Know what you want or need another minute?" Kira pointed randomly at the menu. "This one, please. Pancakes it is. Good choice this time of night." Amy wrote something on her device and left again. The diner door opened and 2 humans in dark uniforms entered. Symbols on their clothing indicated local authority figures. Police, Kira recalled from her briefing. They approached the counter, speaking quietly with the man behind it who pointed in Kira's direction. Kira tensed, prepared to flee if necessary. Had they detected the crash already? She monitored her camouflage, confirming it remained stable. The officers approached her table. The taller one spoke first. "Evening, miss. I'm Officer Wilson. This is Officer Lin. Mind if we ask you a few questions?" Kira forced herself to appear calm. "Of course not. There was a report of unusual lights in the sky near the forest edge about an hour ago. You come from that direction?" Kira considered her response carefully. "I was hiking when the storm hit. Got lost for a while. Saw some strange lights but assumed it was lightning." Officer Lin studied her face. "Hiking in this weather? Got any ID on you?" A complication Kira hadn't anticipated. She had no human identification documents. "I lost my backpack in the forest." Everything was in it. The officers exchanged glances. "Name and address?" "Lily Morgan," Kira said, using the human alias she had prepared. "I'm visiting from Westfield." She recalled a nearby town from her geographic study. Officer Wilson nodded slowly. "Well, Miss Morgan, we'll need you to come down to the station after you finish here. File a proper report about your missing belongings." Before Kira could respond, a commotion erupted outside. The officers turned toward the windows as bright lights illuminated the parking lot. A loud humming filled the air. "What the hell?" Officer Lin moved toward the door, hand on her weapon. Kira recognized the sound immediately. A recovery team from her world had arrived much sooner than expected. They must have detected her ship's emergency beacon. The diner patrons crowded the windows as a circular craft descended in the parking lot, its surface shimmering with iridescent light. This was not the subtle first contact Kira had planned. The mission parameters had changed drastically. Officer Wilson turned to her, suspicion in his eyes, but Kira was already moving. She darted past him toward the kitchen, searching for a back exit. The recovery team would assume she had been captured or killed. Their protocols would prioritize retrieval of her and any technology, with minimal concern for human witnesses. Kira burst through the rear door into an alley. Rain still fell, heavier now. She deactivated her camouflage to signal her people, her purple skin glowing visibly in the darkness. A beam of light swept the alley, finding her. She recognized the telepathic signal sent from the ship. Mission compromised. Extraction imminent. Kira sent back her own message. No. Continue mission. Local intervention minimal. The response came immediately. Denied. Human authorities involved. Protocol requires extraction. A figure appeared at the alley entrance. Officer Lin, weapon drawn. Freeze, what? What are you? Kira raised her hand slowly. I mean no harm. Officer Lin's weapon shook slightly. What's happening? What is that thing in the parking lot? My people came looking for me, Kira explained, keeping her voice calm. They believed I was in danger. A second beam of light engulfed both Kira and Officer Lin. The officer gasped as her weapon floated from her hand, disassembled itself mid-air, then clattered to the ground in pieces. Please, Kira said. I can explain everything if you'll listen. Lin backed against the wall. Are you going to abduct me? Experiment on me? Kira smiled, hoping the expression translated across species. No, those are human stories. We're scientists, not monsters. My ship crashed. I was supposed to study your people quietly, learn your ways. Why? Lin's voice steadied despite her fear. To determine if Earth is ready to join the Galactic Alliance. Many worlds, many species working together. But first contact must be handled carefully. The beam of light pulsed 3 times. A warning from her people. I have a choice to make, Kira said. Leave with my people now, or stay and trust you won't imprison me. Study your world as planned, but openly, with your help. Lin stared at the alien before her, rain soaking them both. If you leave, will they come back? With more ships? Kira nodded. Eventually. But without understanding, without preparation, that meeting might not go well for either of our peoples. Lin lowered her hands slowly. And if you stay? I become the first ambassador between our worlds. Unofficial, working with you, learning from you. The officer took a deep breath. What happens to everyone who saw that ship? Kira glanced toward the diner. Memories can be adjusted. Not erased, but softened. They'll remember strange lights, nothing more. And me? You would remember everything. Someone must know the truth. The recovery ship hummed impatiently overhead. Why trust me? Lin asked. I sense compassion in you. Intelligence. You reached for understanding before fear. Kira extended her 4-fingered hand. Will you help me? Lin looked at the alien hand, then at the glowing ship above them. Slowly, she reached out and took it. I must be crazy, but yes, I'll help you. Kira smiled and sent a final message to her ship. Mission continues. First contact established. Single human ally acquired. Request extended observation period. The response came after a long pause. Approved. Emergency protocol remains active. 6 lunar cycles maximum. The recovery ship's lights dimmed and it rose silently into the clouds. Lin stared at where it had been. What now? Kira activated her camouflage, appearing human once more. Now? I believe I still have some pancakes waiting. 1 month had passed since Kira crashed on Earth. Officer Lin, whose first name was Kate, had helped her establish a small life in Pineville. They told everyone Kira was a research scientist studying local ecosystems, explaining her occasional strange questions about human behavior. The small cabin Kate helped her rent at the edge of town provided privacy for communication with her homeworld and storage for her equipment. Kira stood by the window, watching rain fall again. Earth weather continued to fascinate her. On her desert homeworld, such abundance of water would be celebrated as a miracle. She adjusted her camouflage appearance slightly. having learned that humans expected small changes in how others looked day to day. A knock at the door interrupted her thoughts. Kate entered, carrying paper bags that smelled of food. "Brought Chinese takeout," Kate said, placing the bags on the small table. "Figured we could use a break from your cooking experiments." Kira smiled. Her attempts to prepare human food had produced mixed results. The last attempt was not so bad. "Kira, you put peanut butter on spaghetti." The textures complemented each other. Kate laughed, unpacking containers. "How was the communication with your people today?" Kira joined her at the table. "Concerning. The Galactic Alliance Council is divided on whether Earth is ready for official contact. Some believe your wars and environmental damage show you are too primitive. Hard to argue with that assessment sometimes," Kate said, opening a container of noodles. "Did you show them my report?" Kira nodded. "Your observations about human capacity for cooperation during crises helped. The Council acknowledges your species shows promise despite its flaws." They ate quietly for a moment. Kira had grown to enjoy many Earth foods, particularly those with sweet flavors. Her people primarily consumed nutrient pastes optimized for efficiency rather than pleasure. "We have a problem," Kate finally said. "The state police are sending investigators tomorrow about the lights people saw that night. The memory adjustment your people did worked on most witnesses, but a few posted videos online before they were affected. Nothing clear, but enough to attract attention." Kira set down her fork. "This complicates matters. The Council forbids revealing my presence to more humans without approval. Can you just hide for a few days?" "Possible, but risky. If they search thoroughly and find my equipment or the ship." Kate considered this. "What about telling the truth? Not to everyone, but maybe to someone with authority who could help manage the situation?" Kira tilted her head, a gesture from her natural form she maintained even in human appearance. "Who would you suggest?" "My former professor from university works for a government science division now. Dr. Eleanor Wright. She studies unusual phenomena officially, but has always been open-minded about the possibility of extraterrestrial life. I trust her." Kira accessed her neural implant, scanning through human information networks. "Eleanor Wright, PhD in astrophysics, current consultant to government agencies on unexplained aerial phenomena. No known anti-extraterrestrial views. Divorced, no children. Minimal personal attachments that might compromise secrecy." Kate blinked. "Sometimes I forget you can do that. It's a little creepy." "Apologies. Information gathering is instinctive for my species. I'll call her tonight, see if she can come before the state investigators arrive." Kate paused. "You'll need to show her proof, you know." "Your real appearance," Kira nodded slowly. "A calculated risk, but potentially necessary. The alternative might be discovery by less understanding humans." Later that evening, Kira prepared the cabin for their visitor. She secured her more advanced technology in hidden compartments and prepared a basic demonstration of her capabilities that wouldn't violate council restrictions. Kate arrived with Dr. Wright just after sunset. The professor was older than Kate, with silver-streaked hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing as they scanned the cabin. "Kate tells me you have something extraordinary to show me," Dr. Wright said after introductions. She was quite mysterious about the details. Kira exchanged glances with Kate, who nodded encouragingly. "What I am about to share requires your absolute confidentiality," Kira said. "It could change how humans view their place in the universe." Dr. Wright raised an eyebrow. "That's quite a preamble. I've signed more non-disclosure agreements than I can count in my line of work. Whatever this is, I can keep a secret. This requires more than paperwork," Kira said. "I must ask for your word as a scientist and a human being." "You have it," Dr. Wright said seriously. "Now please explain what this is about." Kira took a deep breath. "It's easier to show you." She deactivated her camouflage. Dr. Wright gasped as Kira's appearance shifted, revealing purple skin that seemed to shimmer slightly in the lamplight. Her eyes, larger than human eyes and a deep violet color, blinked slowly. Her four-fingered hands rested calmly in her lap. "Remarkable," Dr. Wright whispered, scientific curiosity quickly replacing shock. "A perfect human disguise. How, some kind of projection?" "Manipulation of light particles combined with minor telepathic suggestion," Kira explained. "Your mind fills in certain details." Dr. Wright leaned forward, studying Kira with intense interest. "May I?" she asked, hand extended. Kira nodded and Dr. Wright gently touched her arm. Warm. Slightly different texture than human skin, Amazing. She sat back. Kate said you crashed here? Yes, I am a xenoanthropologist from a world you would pronounce as Vexora. My mission was to study humans discreetly to determine if Earth is ready for official contact with the Galactic Alliance. Dr. Wright listened intently as Kira explained her presence, the recovery ship incident, and the current situation with the state investigators. So what you need, Dr. Wright said when Kira finished, is a scientific explanation for the lights people saw, and protection from overly curious authorities. Yes, and perhaps an ally with connections to your government, for when official contact becomes necessary. Dr. Wright stood and paced the small cabin. I can create a cover story about atmospheric testing of new weather monitoring equipment. That would explain the lights and give me authority to declare the area temporarily restricted for further study. Kate looked relieved. That could work. As for the larger question of contact, Dr. Wright continued, I've spent my career preparing for this possibility. I have connections with rational people in government who could form a discreet welcome committee, so to speak. Kira felt hope rising. This is more than I expected, Dr. Wright smiled. Humanity has imagined meeting aliens for centuries. Some of us have actually prepared for it. A sudden beeping interrupted them. Kira's communication device activated automatically, projecting a holographic message in the center of the room. Symbols appeared, shifting rapidly. What is it? Kate asked, recognizing Kira's concerned expression. A priority alert from the Council, Kira translated, reading the alien script. A delegation vessel has been dispatched to Earth. They arrive in 7 days. Why? Kate asked. I thought you had 6 months. Plans changed. Another alien species has been detected approaching your solar system. The Meridae. Kira's voice became grave. They are not Alliance members. They are resource harvesters who strip planets of valuable elements, regardless of indigenous life. Dr. Wright paled. They're coming to Earth? Kira nodded. The Council is sending representatives to offer Earth-protected status and defensive support. But such offers require acceptance from planetary leadership. The United Nations, Kate suggested. Perhaps, Kira agreed. But Earth has no unified government. The Alliance prefers dealing with a single authority. Dr. Wright sat heavily in a chair. So in 1 week, I need to convince world leaders that not only are aliens real, but 2 different groups are coming here. One to help us, and one to potentially strip mine our planet. Yes, Kira said simply. And they must believe you enough to accept Alliance protection. Kate laughed nervously. No pressure. Dr. Wright took a deep breath. We need to move quickly. Kate, you and Kira pack whatever she needs. You'll come to my research facility tonight. It has secure communications and living quarters. Kira tilted her head. You believe you can arrange this meeting with your world leaders? I've spent 30 years documenting unexplained phenomena and building relationships with officials who take the possibility of extraterrestrial contact seriously, Dr. Wright said firmly. If anyone can do this, I can. As they prepared to leave, Kira paused to look at the night sky through the window. Somewhere up there, 2 fleets were heading toward this beautiful blue world, one coming in peace, one with unknown intentions. The fate of her mission, and possibly of humanity, would be determined in the next 7 days. Ready? Kate asked, carrying Kira's equipment bag. Kira turned from the window. Yes, it seems my study of humanity will accelerate considerably. Welcome to First Contact, Dr. Wright said with a wry smile. I always knew it would happen in my lifetime. I just didn't expect it to be quite so complicated. Dr. Wright's research facility turned out to be a sprawling underground complex beneath what appeared to be an ordinary observatory. Located in the mountains 2 hours from Pineville, it housed advanced equipment and a small team of scientists who had been studying unusual phenomena for years. Kira stood in the main conference room, surrounded by screens displaying data about the approaching ships. Her own equipment, integrated with Earth technology, provided clearer tracking than what humans could achieve alone. The Alliance delegation will arrive first, she explained, pointing to a blinking light moving toward Earth. 3 days from now. The Meridae ship follows 2 days later. Dr. Wright nodded, taking notes. Over the past 48 hours, she had made dozens of calls to government officials, scientific colleagues, and military contacts. I've arranged a meeting with a United Nations Special Committee tomorrow. 10 representatives from major world powers. Kate looked impressed. How did you manage that so quickly? I called in every favor accumulated over 30 years, Dr. Wright said with a tired smile. And I sent them some of the data Kira provided. Enough to prove this isn't a hoax. Kira turned from the screens. Have you explained what the Meridai are? Only in general terms. I said one alien group appears peaceful, the other potentially hostile. The details seemed better coming directly from you. Kira nodded. In the 2 days since arriving at the facility, she had prepared extensively for this crucial meeting. The council had sent additional information about the Meridai, including records of planets they had stripped of resources. The images were disturbing. You should both get some rest, Dr. Wright said. The helicopter arrives at 0600 to take us to New York. After Dr. Wright left to make final preparations, Kate sat beside Kira. Are you worried? Kira considered the question. Her species did experience anxiety, though differently than humans. Concerned would be more accurate. Much depends on how these human leaders respond. What happens if they refuse Alliance protection? The Council cannot intervene without permission. The Meridai would be free to begin resource extraction. Kate shuddered. Would they kill everyone? Not deliberately. They simply do not consider indigenous life relevant to their operations. Kira's voice softened. In my month here, I have grown attached to your world. The variety of life, the beauty of your oceans and forests. The Meridai would destroy much of it. Kate placed a hand on Kira's arm. Then we'll just have to be very persuasive tomorrow. The next morning, a military helicopter transported them to a private airfield where a jet waited. By mid-afternoon, they arrived at the United Nations headquarters in New York. Security was extensive. Kira maintained her human camouflage as they passed through multiple checkpoints. Dr. Wright's credentials and the authorization codes she had secured granted them access to a secure conference room deep within the building. 10 people waited inside, seated around a large table. Dr. Wright had briefed Kira on each of them. Representatives from the United States, Russia, China, the European Union, Japan, India, Brazil, South Africa, Australia, and Saudi Arabia all held significant positions in their government's scientific or security divisions. Dr. Wright made brief introductions, then addressed the group. Thank you all for coming on such short notice. What I am about to show you will change our understanding of humanity's place in the universe. She nodded to Kira, who stepped forward. My name is not actually Lily Morgan. I am called Kira, and I am not human. Murmurs spread through the room as Kira deactivated her camouflage, revealing her true form. Several representatives stood abruptly. The American representative, Dr. Patricia Nelson, remained seated but leaned forward with intense interest. I assure you, I mean no harm. Kira continued once the initial shock subsided. I am a xenoanthropologist from a world you would call Vixora, sent to study Earth culture, to determine if your species is ready to join a coalition of intelligent civilizations known as the Galactic Alliance. For the next hour, Kira explained her mission, the Alliance, and the approaching vessels. She presented evidence from her equipment, showing the ship's trajectories and specifications. Finally, she described the Meridai. They have stripped 7 inhabited worlds of resources in the last century alone, she concluded. The Alliance has contained their activities where possible, but they operate outside our jurisdiction unless a planet formally requests protection. The Russian representative, a stern woman named Dr. Sokolov, spoke first after Kira finished. Why should we believe any of this? This could be an elaborate hoax or worse, an attempt to create panic. A fair question, Kira acknowledged. She produced a small metallic sphere from her pocket. This contains a sample of technology beyond current human capabilities. She activated the sphere, which rose into the air and projected a 3-dimensional star map of the local galactic sector. It then transformed into a detailed holographic display of Earth, showing real-time weather patterns, ocean currents, and atmospheric composition. This device accesses satellite data your own technology cannot detect, Kira explained. It also monitors solar activity with precision that will give you 3 times more warning of solar flares than your current systems. The Chinese representative studied the display. Impressive but not conclusive proof of extraterrestrial origin. It could be experimental technology. Dr. Wright stepped forward. I've prepared a data package for each of you, including analysis of materials from Kira's ship. Elements and alloys that do not exist on Earth. manufacturing techniques impossible with our current science. She distributed small drives to each representative. Your own scientist can verify these findings. The discussion continued intensely. Questions about the Alliance's intentions, the Meridai threat, and what protection would entail dominated the conversation. The Alliance offers defensive technology and diplomatic recognition, Kira explained. In return, Earth agrees to certain principles, including environmental protection standards and non-aggression with other member worlds. And if we refuse? Asked the Brazilian representative. The Alliance respects planetary sovereignty. We would not interfere without invitation. Kira's expression grew grave. But neither would we stop the Meridai from beginning extraction operations. The meeting stretched into the evening. Arguments broke out between representatives, some advocating immediate acceptance of Alliance protection, others suspicious of alien intentions altogether. Finally, Dr. Nelson of the United States raised her hand for silence. We need time to consult with our respective governments. This decision affects all of humanity. How long do we have? The Alliance delegation arrives in 3 days, Kira replied. The Meridai 2 days after that. The Alliance can establish protective measures immediately upon arrival, but only with Earth's formal consent. Dr. Nelson nodded. We reconvene tomorrow with preliminary positions from our governments. Dr. Wright, can your team prepare more detailed briefing materials overnight? Already done, Dr. Wright said, patting her tablet. Complete technical analyses, historical precedents from other worlds that joined the Alliance, and projected outcomes of Meridai resource harvesting. As the meeting adjourned, Kate approached Kira. How do you think it went? Kira watched the representatives filing out, already engaged in urgent phone calls. Better than I expected. There is significant skepticism, but also genuine consideration of the evidence. Dr. Wright joined them. We've overcome the first hurdle. They're taking this seriously. Tomorrow comes the hard part. Politics. The 3 women returned to temporary quarters provided within the UN building. Security remained heavy, ostensibly to protect the foreign representatives, but Kira suspected they were also being monitored. Late that night, Kira received a transmission from the approaching Alliance vessel. She translated it for Dr. Wright and Kate. The delegation has accelerated their journey. They will arrive tomorrow night instead of in 3 days. Dr. Wright paled. That changes everything. The committee won't have time for extended deliberations. The Meridai have also increased speed, Kira continued reading. Alliance sensors detected their course adjustment 6 hours ago. Can you contact the Alliance ship directly? Kate asked. Kira nodded. I have been authorized to establish real-time communication when they enter Earth's solar system. Tell them to hold position beyond the moon, Dr. Wright suggested. A ship suddenly appearing in orbit would cause global panic. Kira sent the message and received confirmation shortly after. The Alliance ship would maintain distance until invited closer. We should inform the committee immediately, Kate said. Dr. Wright checked the time. It's after midnight. I'll call an emergency session for 700 hours. We need to be ready with a unified proposal. As Dr. Wright made arrangements, Kate noticed Kira standing by the window, looking at the night sky over New York City. What are you thinking about? Kate asked. How quickly everything has changed. Kira replied softly. My mission was to observe quietly for 6 months. Now, barely 5 weeks after arrival, I may witness either Earth's entry into galactic society or the beginning of its exploitation. Do you think they'll agree to Alliance protection? Kira turned from the window. Humans are remarkably unpredictable. It is what makes you fascinating to study, and what makes this moment so uncertain. Dawn broke over New York City as Kira prepared for the emergency session. She had spent most of the night communicating with the Alliance ship, now designated as Envoy 7, coordinating their approach and the delegation's expectations. Dr. Wright appeared exhausted but focused when she joined Kira and Kate for a brief breakfast. I've been on calls all night with various officials. The news has spread through top government circles worldwide. How are they responding? Kate asked. Mixed. Some immediate rejection of the whole idea, some cautious interest, and a few wholehearted believers. Dr. Wright sipped her coffee. The scientific evidence is compelling enough that most are at least willing to continue discussions. Kira nodded. The Alliance anticipated resistance. First contact is always difficult, especially when forced by external threats rather than occurring naturally. The committee reconvened at 7 sharp, with several new faces joining the original representatives. Military advisors now flanked most committee members, and a UN security team lined the walls of the conference room. Dr. Nelson opened the session. We've all had time to consult with our governments. Before sharing our positions, we'd like an update on the approaching vessels. Kira activated her equipment, projecting the current positions of both ships. The Alliance delegation will reach Earth orbit by 2200 hours tonight. The Meridai ship follows approximately 40 hours later. The Chinese representative, now joined by a stern-faced general, leaned forward. What assurances do we have that this Alliance ship is not itself a threat? The Alliance operates on principles of non-interference and mutual benefit, Kira explained. They will maintain position beyond lunar orbit until invited closer. And what exactly does this protection entail? Asked the Russian representative. Kira brought up new images. The Alliance can deploy a planetary defense network that disrupts Meridai harvesting technology. It prevents their ships from using extraction beams that would otherwise remove massive quantities of minerals, metals, and water from your planet. Would this defense network interfere with our own satellites or weapon systems? A U.S. military advisor asked. No. It specifically targets Meridai technology frequencies. The discussion continued intensely, covering technical details, diplomatic protocols, and security concerns. Several representatives expressed fear that accepting alien technology might create dependency or vulnerability. The Alliance does not seek control of Earth, Kira assured them. Protection is offered freely, with the hope that Earth might eventually join as a member world. But there is no requirement to do so. After hours of debate, Dr. Nelson called for preliminary positions from each country. The United States, European Union, Japan, and Australia supported accepting Alliance protection provisionally, with careful monitoring. China, Russia, and Saudi Arabia expressed deep reservations but did not outright refuse. Brazil and South Africa requested more time for consideration, while India remained noncommittal. We need consensus, Dr. Wright urged. The Meridai won't wait for us to finish debating. The South African representative raised a hand. Perhaps we could meet this Alliance delegation before making a final decision. Speaking directly with them might resolve many concerns. Murmurs of agreement spread through the room. Kira considered the proposal. I can arrange for representatives to board the Alliance vessel once it reaches position tonight. Or they could send a small landing craft to a location of your choosing. After further discussion, they agreed that a delegation of 3 committee members, from the US, China, and Brazil, would travel to meet the Alliance representatives at a remote military base that evening. As the meeting adjourned for preparations, Kate pulled Kira aside. Do you think this will work? Meeting the Alliance delegates should help, Kira said. They are skilled diplomats with experience in first contact situations. Dr. Wright joined them, looking concerned. We have another problem. Word is leaking. Social media is buzzing with rumors about unusual activity at the UN and strange objects approaching Earth. Kate checked her phone, scrolling through news feeds. She's right. Hashtags about aliens and government secrets are trending. Kira frowned. This complicates matters. Mass panic could interfere with rational decision-making. The UN Secretary-General is preparing a statement, Dr. Wright said. Very general. Just acknowledging that representatives are meeting to discuss a matter of global importance. Will that be enough? Kate wondered. Dr. Wright sighed. It will have to be for now. By late afternoon, preparations were complete for the meeting with the Alliance delegation. A military transport would take the Earth representatives, along with Kira, Dr. Wright, and Kate, to a secure facility in Nevada desert. As they boarded the aircraft, Kira received another transmission from Envoy 7. She read it with growing concern. The Meridai have accelerated again, she announced. They will arrive within 24 hours, not 40. Dr. Nelson, representing the U.S. and the delegation, paled. Why are they in such a hurry? They likely detected the Alliance vessel and want to establish position first, Kira explained. This significantly reduces our time frame for decision-making. The flight to Nevada was tense. Kira spent most of it communicating with the Alliance ship, while the human representatives reviewed briefing materials and asked questions about what to expect. The delegates you'll meet are from 3 different Alliance worlds, Kira explained. They will appear very different from humans or from my species. Please prepare yourselves for their appearances. Will we be able to communicate with them directly? Asked the Brazilian representative. Yes. They use translation technology similar to mine, though more advanced. The Chinese general studied Kira suspiciously. If these alliance members are so advanced and peaceful, why have they not prevented the Meridai from harvesting other worlds? The alliance respects sovereignty, Kira replied. They only intervene when invited. Many worlds are not contacted in time, or reject outside help due to fear or suspicion. The military base was locked down when they arrived, with only essential personnel present. In the center of a vast empty runway, temporary structures had been erected to host the meeting. Security teams established a perimeter, and communication specialists set up equipment to record everything. At precisely 2200 hours, Kira's equipment detected the Alliance ship entering Earth orbit, maintaining position beyond the moon as promised. They are ready, she announced. They will send a small craft with 3 delegates and 2 security personnel. All eyes turned to the night sky. Minutes passed in tense silence. Then a point of light appeared, growing larger as it descended. Unlike human aircraft, it made almost no sound, just a faint humming that vibrated more than it was heard. The craft was sleek and silver, roughly the size of a small bus. It touched down gently on the runway, 100 meters from the waiting humans. A seam appeared in its smooth surface, widening into a doorway from which soft light spilled onto the tarmac. The Earth representative stood straighter as the first figure emerged, tall and insectoid with an iridescent exoskeleton and multiple limbs. The being moved with surprising grace. Next came a shorter, broader figure with bluish skin and facial tentacles where a mouth would be on a human. The third delegate appeared almost gaseous, a vaguely humanoid shape contained within what looked like a transparent environmental suit. Kira stepped forward, bowing in the Alliance formal greeting. The delegates returned the gesture. Welcome to Earth, she said in the common Alliance language. These humans represent their world's leadership council. The insectoid being spoke, its voice translated into English by a device at its thorax. We are honored to meet representatives of Earth. I am Zrel Tan, principal diplomat of the Alliance. Dr. Nelson stepped forward. On behalf of the people of Earth, we welcome you and thank you for coming such a distance. Distance is less important than purpose, said the bluish being. I am Moralax of Ceridian. Our purpose is to offer Earth protection from those who would exploit it. The third delegate's voice seemed to emanate from its containment suit. I am Ifira. We understand your caution. New relationships require trust, which must be earned. For the next several hours, the human and alien representatives engaged in intense discussion. The Alliance delegates answered questions, explained the protection they offered, and described how other worlds had benefited from membership in their coalition. The defense network can be deployed within hours, Zrel Tan explained. It requires no permanent installations on your planet. And what do you gain from helping us? The Chinese general asked bluntly. Moralax responded. The Alliance was founded on the principle that diversity of intelligent life benefits all. Each species brings unique perspectives and innovations. Earth has much to offer: your art, your music, your resilience. As the discussions continued, Kira received another transmission. She interrupted with urgency. The Meridai ship has accelerated beyond expected parameters. Current arrival estimate is 6 hours from now. The room fell silent. That's not enough time, Dr. Wright said. We need a global consensus before— There is no time for consensus, Zrel Tan stated. You must decide now whether to accept our protection. The Nevada desert night was illuminated by pulsing lights as the Alliance ship Envoy 7 moved into lower orbit, now visible as a bright star crossing the sky. On Kira's monitoring equipment, thousands of small objects deployed from the ship, spreading into a net-like pattern around Earth. The defense network is activating, Kira explained to the assembled humans. Each node creates an energy field that interferes with Meridai harvesting technology. Military personnel rushed around the base, preparing for potential conflict despite assurances from the Alliance delegates that the Meridai would be neutralized. Your weapons would be ineffective against their shields, Zrel Tan advised the base commander. Allow our technology to protect your world. The Chinese general observed the activity with narrowed eyes. If your defenses fail, we must be prepared. A reasonable precaution, Morlax acknowledged, though we hope such measures will be unnecessary. Communications gradually restored as the Alliance technology countered the Meridi jamming. Dr. Nelson immediately connected with Washington, while her counterparts contacted their own governments. Kate stood with Kira at the monitoring station. Is Earth really going to join some kind of galactic United Nations? Kira smiled slightly. The process usually takes decades. This is merely the first step, protection status. Full membership would come only after extensive cultural exchange and technological adaptation. Assuming we survive the next few hours, Kate said. The Alliance has successfully defended many worlds from Meridi incursion, Kira assured her. Their technology is specifically designed for this purpose. Dr. Wright joined them, looking both exhausted and exhilarated. The Secretary General is addressing the world now. Basic information about both alien vessels, reassurance about the Alliance protection, and instructions to remain calm. How are people reacting? Kate asked. Mixed. Panic in some regions, celebration in others, disbelief in many. Dr. Wright shook her head. Humanity has speculated about this moment for centuries, but the reality is still overwhelming. Kira's equipment suddenly blared with alerts. The Meridi ship has entered the upper atmosphere, she announced, moving into position over the Pacific Ocean. Everyone gathered around the display as a massive vessel appeared on the monitoring system. Unlike the sleek Alliance craft, the Meridi ship was angular and dark, resembling an enormous mechanical insect with multiple protruding appendages. They are scanning the planetary surface, Kira translated from the data. Identifying resource-rich areas. Zreltan stepped forward. Watch. On the screen, pulses of energy from the defense network converged on the Meridi vessel. Its scanning beams flickered and died. First-stage containment successful, Ephira announced. Their harvest technology is neutralized. A collective sigh of relief passed through the room, but Kira remained tense. They will not retreat so easily. As if confirming her words, the Meridi ship changed configuration, its appendages retracting and new ones extending. A different type of beam lanced from the vessel toward Earth. What are they doing? Dr. Nelson demanded. Communication attempt, Kira explained, studying the data. They are broadcasting on all frequencies. Can we hear it? The base commander asked. Kira adjusted her equipment. A harsh, metallic voice filled the room, speaking in heavily accented English. People of Earth, we come to trade. Your world has resources. We offer technology. Alliance protection unnecessary. They deceive you. We propose direct negotiation. The Earth representatives exchanged concerned glances. The Brazilian delegate voiced what many were thinking. Maybe we should hear what they offer? Zreltan's insectoid features remained impassive, but Kira could sense the diplomat's concern. The Meridi do not trade fairly. Their technology is designed to fail after they have extracted what they want. How do we know you're telling the truth? The Chinese general challenged. Perhaps this is a dispute between rival powers with Earth caught in the middle. Kira stepped forward. I have studied both the Alliance and the Meridi extensively. The evidence of Meridi destruction is well documented. She transferred files to the main screen, showing before and after images of worlds the Meridi had harvested. Once vibrant planets reduced to barren rock, oceans drained, atmospheres thinned. The room grew quiet as the images sank in. What if we just tell them to leave? Kate suggested. Both groups. The Alliance will withdraw if requested, Morlax said. But without protection, the Meridi will begin harvesting immediately. The Meridi broadcast continued. Alliance exaggerates. We take only what planet can spare. Minimal impact. Better terms than Alliance offers. Decision must be immediate. Dr. Nelson turned to Kira. Can they detect what we're saying here? No, this facility is shielded by Alliance technology now. Then we have time to consider our options, Dr. Nelson said. I propose we... Her words were cut off as the entire building shook. Alarms blared throughout the base. Meridi have deployed atmospheric penetrators, Ephira announced, consulting a device. Small craft heading for major resource deposits worldwide. Can your defense network stop them? Dr. Wright asked urgently. Yes, but they are testing our coverage, Zreltan explained. Looking for gaps. The communication officer called out. We have reports of objects entering atmosphere over Siberia, the Amazon basin, and Central Africa. Resource-rich regions, Kira noted. The Meridai are desperate. They rarely act so aggressively when Alliance ships are present. Why now? Why Earth? Kate asked. Your planet is unusually rich in resources they value, Kira explained. Water, rare minerals, biological diversity. Worth the risk to them. Another tremor shook the building. Outside, the sound of jet engines roared as human military aircraft scrambled in response to the incursion. Your aircraft cannot stop them, Sreltan warned. They will be destroyed if they engage. Dr. Nelson relayed the warning to military command, but the jets continued their ascent. Human nature, Dr. Wright said with a grim smile. We don't like being told what we can't do. On the monitor, they watched as fighter jets approached one of the Meridai penetrators over North America. The alien craft, shaped like a metal arrowhead, simply accelerated beyond the jet's pursuit capability. At least they're not shooting, Kate observed. Not yet, the base commander said grimly. Kira received another transmission from the Alliance ship. The defense network is fully active. All Meridai craft are being contained. On the screens, the penetrators suddenly stopped their descent, held in stasis fields projected by the Alliance nodes. The main Meridai ship pulsed with energy as it attempted to break through the defenses, but remained effectively neutralized. It's working, Dr. Wright said with relief. For now, Sreltan cautioned, but this is merely the first confrontation. The Meridai will attempt new strategies. As if on cue, the Meridai broadcast changed. We acknowledge your alliance with enemy. Unfortunate choice. We withdraw temporarily. We'll return when protection expires. Your world remains target for harvest. The massive ship began to ascend, pulling its penetrators back into the main vessel. Are they really leaving? The Brazilian representative asked cautiously. Tactical retreat only, Morlax confirmed. They will monitor from a distance, waiting for an opportunity. Dr. Nelson turned to the Alliance delegates. How long will your protection last? The network will remain active indefinitely, Sreltan replied. But for permanent security, Earth should consider formal protected status within the Alliance. That would require extensive diplomatic negotiations, Dr. Nelson said, which can begin immediately, Afira offered. A delegation from Earth could return with us to Alliance headquarters to establish formal relations. The discussions continued into the dawn hours as the immediate crisis subsided. The Meridai ship retreated beyond lunar orbit but remained visible to Alliance sensors. Around the world, governments struggled to manage public reaction to confirmation of alien contact. Religious leaders offered varying interpretations, scientists demanded access to alien technology, and ordinary citizens alternated between fear and fascination. As sunrise painted the desert sky with vibrant colors, Kira stepped outside for a moment of quiet reflection. Kate joined her, both women watching the light spread across the landscape. Your mission certainly took an unexpected turn, Kate observed. Kira nodded. I came to study humans discreetly. Instead, I became part of humanity's first official contact with extraterrestrial life. Do you think Earth will join this alliance? Eventually, yes. The process will be complex. Different nations will have different concerns. Trust will build slowly, but the foundation has been laid. And the Meridai, they are patient. They may wait years before trying again. Kira turned to face her friend, which is why Earth needs continued alliance protection. Dr. Wright emerged from the building, approaching with a smile. It's official. The UN has voted to send a preliminary diplomatic mission to the Alliance headquarters, 5 representatives from different regions along with scientific advisors. When do they leave? Kate asked. Next week. They've asked me to join as scientific liaison. Dr. Wright looked at Kira. And they specifically requested you as cultural interpreter. Kira tilted her head. My mission parameters have certainly changed. What about me? Kate asked. Just back to being a small-town police officer?